Thank you so much for joining for another episode of the Adventure Games podcast. And we are here with quite a few of us. It was very nearly a full house, but Kieran was unable to make it. Apparently, he doesn't like us anymore, so we'll never see him again. No, now, hopefully, I'm just kidding. Hopefully, we'll see him again soon. But we have different people. I'm going to go from, top to bottom from what I can see. So, hello, Johnny Nice, the nicest person in the gaming community.
Hi,
How are
sure,
you?
sure. Good, doing good here. Glad to be here again.
Great to see you again. And please tell us, what game will you be reviewing today?
I'll be reviewing Earth Must Die.
Yeah.
Gonna be a special review because I wasn't really that into it at first, but it was a worthwhile game, so we'll get into that later.
Well, yeah, well, it's his, I mean, with the way the world is going, probably a few people might be like, yeah, Earth must die. We've had a good run of it, but yeah, we'll be talking about the game, later on. So thank you, Johnny. And, Thomas, how are you doing?
I'm doing fine, thank you.
And which
I
game? Oh, sorry, go ahead.
no no I will I played. I actually have not yet finished it. I'm very close to finishing it. Will be the captain.
So, Captain,
It
my
is an
captain.
older game. Yeah, yes, yes. It is an older game from late December 2021.
Yeah, I can't believe that an older game is now a game that was released in 2021. It's
That's
kind of
5 years
scary.
ago. Yeah,
Yeah, it's kind of
Half a
scary.
decade.
we are mentally still in the COVID year. So
Yes, I'm still thinking there was still COVID, but yeah, no. So thank you, Thomas. Look forward to hearing that. And hello, Laura. Hello, Cressup. You've taken time out from doing interviews and playing games, and you're doing Steam things as well, Steam sales, and speaking with your besties, Charles, and everybody who is anybody. So thank you, Laura, for joining us.
No
But no,
worries.
you are doing great work. Yes, we want to say that. Be serious for just a second. But how are you?
I'm great, Sure. I'm good.
That's great. And which game will you be talking about?
So I'm going to be talking about Inkle's TR49, a deduction game, which
Ooh,
yeah, well, there's quite a lot of them around at the moment, but yeah,
yeah,
this
they
is an
seem to be
interesting one.
quite popular with people. Perfect. Well, we'll be hearing about that in just a second. And hello, Matt Latham. Can you please tell us about Loom? You have played it, I take it.
Still not played it. So
You're terrible.
How are you, Matt?
I'm very good, sure. Yeah, I'm quite surprised that we're nearly like a quarter of the way through the year already.
Yeah,
Oh, don't say that.
Oh, shut
it's
up.
it is terrifying. I mean, I'm 3 months married now. It's like, where have those 3 months gone? It's,
Yeah.
um, but I
well,
know
at least
it's
you got to spend some time in Japan for that. But
yes, we're just back from Japan, and if I don't know if anybody is listening to us from Japan, you're an amazing country. It's a beautiful, beautiful country, amazing people, and I know really great game developers there. Hideo Kojima, Capcom. We could go on and on. So,
a small company called Nintendo.
oh
Never heard of
yes,
him.
never heard Nintendo what? Yeah, or I mean maybe if you spend too long on
Sony.
the yes, well if you spend too long on the Nintendo Switch, as my wife likes to call it, Nintendo. No, she's never actually said that, but yes. Anyway, yes, just back from Japan. It's an amazing country, and I really recommend people get to go there if you haven't already, or even if you have, recommend people go again. But yes, and which game will you be talking about, Matt?
Yes, I'll be talking about Perfect Tides Station to Station.
Perfect. And I will be reviewing Shadows of the Afterland. So those are the games that we will be talking about. And yes, and Kieran was supposed to talk about the operator. Hopefully, we'll see if we can get him on even in post production, but we will see next time as well. Okay, so Laura, would you like to get us started on the
Yes.
first game, which is TR49, as you mentioned?
Tell me what you can see.
There's a dial and it makes the code on the front change.
That's right. There are codes for everything. There must be a code to wake it up.
The screen lit up, but it's not good. I can't read it. Aren't there any instructions?
This place is made out of vacuum tubes and relays, so no.
Half this entry is corrupted.
I think the machine's trying to protect itself. It contains a mixture of books, journals, letters.
In the beginning was the Word.
There are books inside this thing.
It chews them up, swallows them whole.
This is the title that goes with this code. I got one.
50 men on the dead man's chest.
I've got my notebook ready.
What kind of palace is this?
The daughter disappeared. There's a face in the glass. Are we even safe down here?
What's going on?
So there is someone else here.
What is this place?
It's like the machine won't let the world stop dreaming.
I shall. And so, as I said, this is by Inkle, which, made kind of Heaven's Vault and 80 Days and a lot of interesting, quite unique games, really. You know, they always have quite a strong narrative, but they can be very different in style. And this is definitely different from anything else they've made. If you're looking for something that it's similar to, I would say potentially Type Help, which is another kind of code-based deduction game. But this one is sort of set within some element of kind of realism and history. So basically, it's kind of set, well, it's based around kind of Bletchley Park era code breaking. The idea is that you are this code breaker called Abby, or it appears that you are at least. You are underneath Manchester Cathedral in a crypt. There is this old code breaking machine, and it starts quite immediately. Basically, it really throws you into what's happening. There's not really a lot of explanation. And you've got to work out how this machine works. And the idea is that there's like a 4-digit code, there's 2 letters, there's 2 numbers. You've got to work out what these correspond to. And you've got someone else speaking in your ear. It's all audio. It's quite relatively plain graphics. Most of the time, you're just looking at the screen, at this computer screen. And you basically got to work out what, kind of why you're there, what's going on. You get told by this guy, Liam, that you ultimately need to find this specific book end piece, and that's going to bring out some kind of change, or something's going to happen when you find this book. So a lot of it is you working out what these codes mean. And if you've played Type Help, it's a bit like that, where you've got to work out what they correspond to, and then as you work out what they correspond to, the story comes more. And the idea with this one is that it's kind of based on these fictional books. So I can't remember exactly how many books have been put inside this machine, and it says kind of literally put inside, so that the pages are there, and you've got to find the codes that correspond to these books. And when you do that correctly, then the sort of entire book will open up. Or if I say entire book, as in you can at least read about it. And some of the books are real. There's a couple of actual real ones that are put in there that you have to kind of work out, and others are completely fictional. And some of it isn't just books, some of it's kind of journal entries, academic journals. So there's all these different kind of works of literature that are put inside this machine, and that's essentially what you're doing. You're trying to work out what's going on. Now I actually haven't played Type Help. I've seen a bit of it played. So this is kind of the first sort of code-based deduction thing I've played. I loved Root Trees Are Dead. Obviously I loved Obra Dinn. So there's a bit of that with this, because you are basically putting in the letters, you're putting in the numbers, and matching it up with the name of the journal, of the book. And then when you've got that right, your Abby, she will sort of give you an affirmative, so okay, that one's correct, and then you can kind of move on. I really got into kind of that mechanic once I worked out what on earth was going on, because it doesn't, take you by the hand, this game. You really have to just persevere and be like, okay, what is going on here? What does this mean? And it is quite opaque, I think. There's several layers. Is this about kind of AI models scraping data? Is that what it's talking about? There's quite a few philosophical threads, but I really enjoyed the mechanic of working out the codes. And once you have a few revelations, it's quite fun. And I decided to try and 100% it. I think it was 50 books, I think. So I think I got 49 because there was one that was just too, and I played it all in one sitting. I was just like, right, I'm gonna keep playing this. So that element I really enjoyed. The bit I found harder to get into was just the ongoing story of why Abby was there. You're kind of talking with this guy Liam, and there's a little bit of extra. There's some other actors. I think Inkle styles it as an audio drama, which is good. But then sometimes if you are trying to solve these codes and puzzles, you don't really want someone in your ear sort of nattering away. And sometimes I think they have changed this up, that you can take that down a notch, because when I played it, it was before it was released. That element I've started to grate a bit, when I was just like, okay, be quiet, guys. I actually want to work this out. And you can kind of not prompt them so that they don't keep talking to you. But yeah, I think I was left puzzled. And I know Johnny played this as well, so I'd be interested to hear his input on it. But I was left a bit puzzled by the ending. And I believe there's multiple endings as well. And there's different ways you can solve it. And you can solve it very quickly once you know what you're doing. So yeah, I think for me, I really enjoyed the puzzle mechanic. I thought that was really good fun. It looks very basic. The story just wasn't quite there for me. I couldn't quite understand what was going on for some of the time, but that almost didn't matter because I was just enjoying solving it, if that makes sense. I don't know how you felt, Johnny, about it, but I feel like you were kind of similar to me.
Yeah, exactly. But I completed it 100%. I got the 50th book, but I didn't play it in one sitting because it was a very difficult game, figuring out all those codes. So I did it 10 books at a time, and then I quit for a little bit, and then I picked it up later. And the ending, yeah, it's hard to refer to it without spoiling anything, but
I know.
it has to do with some parallel timelines and stuff like that. There's a lot of science going on there, and it wasn't all clear to me either. And it was sometimes very difficult to follow with all the philosophical stuff as well, like you said. But in a sense, essentially, it's a great puzzle game, and I had a lot of fun with it. I finished it in, I think, about 7 hours, 7.5.
Yeah, same.
And it was amazing, and really not all that difficult in the end. You just have to pay very much attention to the details and to link things together. And there were a couple of books near the end that really gave me some trouble figuring out. I had a couple of codes left and a couple of titles as well, and I just couldn't link them together. And then suddenly, after checking a couple of earlier entries again, I found some information, and then I thought, oh, perhaps this is it, and we tried it out, and then it worked. It was I was very much surprised that it worked, because I was just going on some kind of tangent there, just off the top of my head. So I was very glad that I could indeed finish the game 100%. And I can really recommend it because it's indeed a deduction game. There have been many games of this sort for a while now, and new titles are still coming out. I'm actually thinking of doing something special about deduction games in the future. Not sure yet what it will be. But yeah, this is certainly a very, very good example of a good puzzle and deduction game. So
But
yeah,
it definitely, I think at the beginning, and I think this is where because I know you started it, Thomas, and then you didn't continue it. And I do think the beginning doesn't really give you any help. It just kind of throws you in, and it's confusing. And I feel like that's quite unusual.
You have to figure out everything yourself. So there's no manual, no tutorial. You don't know what the gameplay is like, what the user interface is like. You just have to figure it out on your own. And indeed, it takes a little bit to get under control. Then once you're off, and then everything kind of
but except that moment never came for me. That moment for once you're off.
Fair enough. I think I understand that.
Yeah,
sure. I kept chasing that because I played Root Trees. I loved playing Root Trees. I really was into that. So and I love Inkle games. So I really wanted to play this, but it didn't connect me.
I think Root Trees does it very differently in that it starts very simply and then it really ramps up. And I think this just doesn't, there's nothing really. It's a lot more there. It's not like with Root Trees where you're searching for things. There's not an in-game thing. You're just given the codes and it's quite, obtuse language sometimes. And so I do totally get it. I think it was about an hour for me before it kind of completely clicked. So I do get that.
So it's a very steep learning curve.
I tried several times. Johnny gave me some hints. You gave me some tips. I just couldn't connect with it, even though the voice acting is fantastic. And
the voice acting is good. Yeah,
the retro futuristic feel of it should be very appealing to me, which is also why I bought the game. But I just couldn't connect with it. Maybe I'll try it later this year. Try again. Or maybe not play it on the Steam Deck, but play it on the PC, and we'll see. But unfortunately, it wasn't a game for me.
Yeah, and I think that totally makes sense. I would just say, I think if you're into those games, definitely give it a shot. It's quite. I mean, a lot of these games are quite graphically simple, aren't they? That because the whole point is the mechanic. But if you like those games, I think it's definitely worth checking out.
Thank you. By the way, I don't know if you guys heard music. That I did not do that. Okay, so we like the Oscars. I was saying that as a joke. So we are trying to keep ourselves to about 10 minutes, and I put a timer on. I didn't think anything would happen after 10 minutes, but it was just more to keep us, give us an idea.
I think you can turn it off potentially if you look at alarm sound.
Oh, but I kind of liked it. Like the Oscar. Yes, it's off now, but it's kind of like the the Oscars.
I wasn't laughing at Thomas there. It was just the thing.
It's just the Brits get whatever they want, but the Dutch guy says something and he gets played off.
Like, get him off. Get him
off. We're still figuring this all out, trying, to keep us on track, or mainly me. But no, thank you very much, guys. And I think it's, I haven't played this game, but I think with Inkle Studios, they make such different kinds of games that not all of them are going to maybe appeal to all of us, because like you, Tom, I love Heaven's Vault and Overboard and Expel last year. But for me, Highland Song, it certainly wasn't a bad game, but I think it was more a game that wasn't really for me as much. But then Expelled, I really did enjoy that. But yeah, it's great to see. It's getting overwhelmingly positive reviews. I think it seems to have sold well, which I'm delighted to hear. Because I love Inkle Studios and, great people. And I just want them to keep doing like these experimental games they're doing. So that is TR49. And that is out now. It's out on Steam. It's verified on Steam Deck, and you can play this on Nintendo Switch and the App Store as well, which I think is interesting. So so that is TR49. And okay, so the next game that we're going to talk about and I'm going to review is Shadows of the Afterland.
What are you talking about? It's 1988.
Oh, really? What happened on the other side? How did you die?
What the? No! Nothing happened. I don't remember having died.
It's possible to visit that world.
Ever heard of possessions?
So I just push it out? There's a son of a bitch out there who wants to kill this kid!
Maybe we should come up with a plan first.
There's no time.
Hold on a second. Are you telling me you're Pilar now?
I feel like I'm both of them at once.
Okay, so the timer is set. I don't know if you guys can see this, but if you can, then you can. If you're watching this on YouTube or try it on YouTube as well.
I would
Anyway,
be fascinated to know if this comes up on the video. I don't think it does, but I think it's hilarious if it does.
I don't know. What we're doing. Anyway, so Shadows of the Afterland. This is the second game from Aruma Studios. The previous game was Intruder in Antiquonia, which I enjoyed, but I think it's safe to say it's not the game that's probably set the world on fire. There were some kind of issues with it, but overall, I think it was a good attempt, good first game. But with Shadows of the Afterland, I think overall, I'm delighted to say that they've really taken on board, feedback for the first game, and they've really done everything they could to try and make this game as good as possible. So it's set, first of all, Madrid, 1960, and there's a young woman named Pilar. She's at the zoo, and then all of a sudden she just decides to jump into the bear pit, but while she's doing that, she's struck by lightning and she dies. So, she wasn't going to be killed by the bear, she's struck by lightning, and that really did it. And then you end up in a place in the Afterland. So this is in the afterlife, and it's very much like like an office. There are people, there's people taking notes on people coming in. Now the thing is, though, you're not Pilar, but there is a woman who looks exactly she's blue and she's a ghost this time, but it's the same woman, but it's Carolina. And this person was born in 1988, and she was a police officer, and she doesn't remember dying. So she's like, what am I doing here? So she has to then investigate what happened. So she has to explore this afterlife, try to get to the bottom of what happened, try and find out who is Carolina, who is why is she there instead of her, what is this place, and just what is going on. Now, if you look at the screenshot, and it is beautiful pixel art, but certainly I thought going in that this was going to be like a comedy, that this is going to be like a lighthearted romp. It's actually quite serious, and it is more of a detective game. It is more, shall we say, like the Blackwell games, more so than there are some hours with Will of Arthur Flabbington, but it's more in that tone. There are some comedic moments and some comedic elements, but it's definitely more of a serious story than I expect. Now, I have no problem with that. I thought that the story overall was good. I really enjoyed. I thought the story flowed very well for the most part. I thought the writing was good. Writing was solid. I think the mystery was engaging. I was always engaged all throughout the game. And this game has voice acting, which your previous game didn't, and the voice acting is excellent all around. Ivy Dupler plays the main character, and she's in everything. She's amazing. She's in Whispers of the Machine, and she's in many other things, including some Dave Gilbert games and Francisco Gonzalez games. And she really helps sell the character, and you can really feel what she's going through, the confusion that she has, and then just wanting to get to the bottom of it. But all around, all of the other characters are excellently voiced as well. I don't think there was any character that I thought was badly voiced or was didn't match the character. I thought it was all excellent. It took me about 5 hours or so, 5-6 hours. I think with the gameplay as well, so there's some light puzzles for the most part. There are puzzles, but you have to go around and mainly inventory puzzles. But they all pretty much made sense to me. I think there was 1 or 2 times, so the developer very kindly sent me this game as a review code. I did have to ask him once or twice for help because I just was stuck, but it turned out to be that I didn't think of it, because I don't think it was illogical. And again, compared to Arthur Flabbington, I think the puzzles in that game are certainly more difficult. Also in this game, like Arthur Flabbington, you can possess characters. So you can go back into the living world and you can possess other characters and get them to do other things, get them to talk to other characters and give inventory items and that. And that was quite comedic as well, because they know that they're being possessed, but they can't do anything, and they don't know what's going on. So when you stop possessing them, and they're like, well, that was weird. That was very strange. So I thought that was quite well done. I would have liked maybe a little bit more of that because I really enjoyed it so much. But when it was done, I think it it was done very well. Also, this game deals with some serious topics. I mean, it deals with deaths, obviously. It deals with suicide. There's murder. There is sexism and role of women during the Franco dictatorship. And it deals with, poverty. It deals with different things. I think that it's all done very sensitively, and it's certainly not grim. It's not depressing. It is more of an investigation type story. So I think that was all done quite well. Now, I do have to say that I did find the ending a little bit unsatisfying, and the end kind of scene. There's a pretty long scene at the end, so I think that's good. But I don't know if it's setting itself up for a sequel, but it wasn't as resolved as I was hoping it would be. Now, again, I don't mind. It doesn't always have to be, not everything has to be tied up in, in the knot at the end. But I was hoping for more of a satisfactory resolution that I personally don't feel that I got. Now, overall, I would recommend it. I think it is better than the previous game, and I really liked it overall. But I think that is the main thing for me, that I was hoping for a better resolution. But everything else I really enjoyed about the game. And I believe other people, Johnny and Matt, you guys played it as well, I believe. Matt, did you say, well, what did you think, Matt?
I mean, I remember playing the demo at Adventure X. This was like one of the ones I was really looking forward to. And for the most part, I did enjoy it. I think as the game went on, it set itself up to be quite witty and comic in its places. And I thought it was actually quite funny. And there's a lot of kind of nice kind of little kind of imaginative tweaks onto things, but then as the game kind of develops and the more the serious stuff come in, there's a bit of a weird tone, and I think the tone kind of shifts a bit too much, that it feels slightly lopsided. So a lot of the kind of comedic stuff that's brought up at the start kind of vanishes halfway through. I mean, it's like you go into a gym and the characters, interesting now, don't have legs, and the joke, you can skip leg day, is one of the funniest jokes that I think I've seen in an adventure game for absolutely years, and loved it. But yeah, I think that I had a bit of an issue with just how much the kind of dramatic kicked in. I think if there was a bit more of a balance between that, it's like to me it felt like if Sam and Max suddenly turned into the Dig. Like, yeah, I felt it was that jarring. But if the Dig started picking up stuff like with Blackwell, but other than that, I think the kind of world and the animations look really, really fine. I think that tonal shift, and I think I agree with you on the ending as well. I think those were the things that kind of that didn't sit with me correctly. So
interesting. Johnny, did you play this game as well?
Of course, I played it.
Of course you did. You played everything.
I
I didn't mean that to
agree.
be come across like that, but anyway.
It's not Johnny Nice, it's Johnny Snippy.
You've played. Of course you've
Johnny
played everything.
I'm trying to keep up with the new games this year. So, but no, I pretty much agree with your assessment, Shorsha, and Matt as well. Indeed, the ending was a bit of a letdown for me as well. I had the feeling that not everything got totally explained in the end, or I might have missed some things here and there. I don't know. But what I really liked about this game was the recap system, because I often play
I forgot to mention that.
Yes,
and I didn't realize it was there, because when I started to play again, I just loaded my save file from the main menu, but then one time I just clicked on continue from the main menu, and then suddenly a recap came up from the previous playing sessions with the dialogues and the scenes that were important to remember what you were actually doing, what your current objective was. I can't really remember having seen such a system in other games. I'm sure there must be games out there who have done that as well, but I thought it was brilliant, simply brilliant. And what I also liked is that you could save your game during conversations, even during cutscenes. That was also very, very brilliant, because sometimes conversations and cutscenes can run on for a while, and well, when life happens and you have to shut down your game at the split second, and you have to wait for the scene to end, because that is the only time you're probably going to be able to see that. And so to be able to save in the middle of such an important conversation and just continue from where you left off when you return, that was just something that every game should do, in my opinion.
Yeah, no, totally agree. I think from a technical point of view, this game is quite amazing. It really respects the player's time. And I understand that life happens, which so many games and game developers don't, maybe not intentionally, but as you mentioned, the recap is excellent because it's like a TV series that you stop playing even from one day to the next. I mean, I'm getting old. I'm getting forgetful.
Shadows of the Afterland.
Yes, goes previously. Like it's usually Ivy Duper said previously on Shadows of the Afterland, and it tells you what you need to know. It's not a full recap, just the main plot points, the plot beats that have happened to help you remember what is happening. Because there's a few characters and a few things going on, so it's really helpful. And as I mentioned, there are manual saves. Thank you, Arima Studios. And it not only that, but it saves during conversations, which I don't think is very common in adventure game. I'm guessing that's a technical.
No, usually you have to quit a conversation and then you can save.
Yeah, which I believe
it's often you can't go back into a conversation often in adventure games. That's your only chance usually to talk to a character, and so being able to save there in the middle of that's just brilliant.
Yeah. So overall, I would highly recommend it, and I get what you're saying, Matt. If it's tone, I didn't have quite the same issue, but I get what you're saying that there is comedy and more seriousness as well. But
I want to think of Grim Fandango a little bit. It didn't have the noir atmosphere like that, but balance between comedy and more dramatic style, and also of course with the afterlife, with them being dead. It's kind of similar like that, but in more of an old school art style, of course.
I haven't thought about it like that, but anyway, that is Shadows of the Afterland, and it is out on Steam. Don't think it's anywhere else yet, but I would definitely recommend that people check it out. So now another game, Earth Must Die.
In the name of Emperor Gargantua, I hereby claim your civilization for the Terranoid Empire. And if you resist, then I'll mount your ugly blue head on a pike and put your flying milk jug in charge.
That's it! The Terranoids have got to go! I can't take a moment longer living under these cruel, idiotic tyrants!
I do have one idea, but you won't like it. We rebel.
What do I know of rebellion? I have such lovely, soft, dictatory hands. Come on! I've got an empire to overthrow. This is taking ages.
A visit from the gods at long last.
Let me know if you want the windscreen wipers on or anything.
I am Snargler, master of the Council of Orgies.
You see now, don't you? Now you suffered under the heavy boot of a fascist empire. We'll have to kill them all.
So, Johnny, can you please tell us about this game and what you thought? Because as you said at the top of the program, this isn't usually that a kind of or type of game for you, but please tell us what this game is about and what did you think?
Yes, Earth Must Die. Its trailer and screenshots didn't really convince me, and I was doubting very much that I would finally end up playing this game. Then I challenged myself to try to keep up with all important new releases this year because I missed out on a couple of titles last year. So I'm trying my best to play as many games as possible. So I thought, okay, Earth Must Die. I heard a lot about it, and I thought I'd just give it a try myself. Now, it is an acquired taste, I must say. Graphically, it has this stylistic style that reminded me a lot of a kind of combination of The Emperor's New Groove, the Disney animation, but combined with Megamind of DreamWorks, because you have here kind of a villainous main character. His name is Vadak, and that's spelled with 2 V's. It's kind of a running joke throughout the game. And he is the youngest son of the Therithian Kingdom, an alien planet somewhere in the galaxy. And they are under attack by some rebels. And the king, this Valak's father, he is injured. And instead of helping him, Valak just lets him die, and even gets his own 2 older brothers killed as well, so that he can get on the throne. So he's really a very villainous character without any respect or empathy to other people. So yeah, I didn't really enjoy playing a game like that because it reminded me a lot of Rufus in the Deponia games, who's also a little bastard, you might say. But Valak, he's got this, this comedic thing about him. So he's also accompanied by still his childhood nursing bot, Milky, as a comedic sidekick, and combination of these 2 characters, it's a lot of fun, actually. So it kind of grew on me as I was playing. It's still the game, I wouldn't recommend it to everyone because it has a lot of graphic violence, I might say. There are many characters that are that die, that are dismembered, and you see organs flying and eyeballs and stuff like that.
Presumably in a cartoony way, not like
of course.
As someone who's just playing Resident Evil Requiem, I'm guessing it's
all,
not like
all very much cartoony, of course.
Yeah.
But then on the other end, there are also many sexual references. So there is one scene in the game where you have to attend an orgy. Luckily, you don't participate, but you're still witnessing it, an orgy of all kinds of alien creatures together. And there are many, many sexual references. And I'm not saying I'm a prude, but the amount of times that the word penis and other reproductive organs came by in this game, it was a little bit too much for me, I must say. So, but it's part of this game style. It's
British.
It has this absurd kind of humor. Reminded me a bit of Douglas Adams with Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, which I've only read the first chapter because I couldn't really get into it. Not really my kind of humor, and I had that with this game as well. So there's lots of humor here, but it's not my kind of humor. But I can totally imagine there are many people out there who do enjoy this. Then when it comes to the gameplay, it's still an adventure game, but it doesn't employ an inventory, so there are no inventory puzzles. Because Valak, being the current king of Tirith, he doesn't like to get his hands dirty. So instead, he likes to order people around and do things for him. So very often, when you encounter a puzzle, it means that you have to order your companion Milky or someone else in the vicinity to interact with the environment, with the hotspots that are there. And there is one scene where you have to guide a couple of thieves who are committing a burglary to get something you need for your mission. And it kind of felt like the old Goblins games there, where you have to see what every action does in a kind of trial and error fashion, and then figure out the right chronology of those actions. There's also a timing element involved. And that was a lot of fun, I thought. It was very, very different gameplay mechanic than what I'm used to in adventure games. So that was very, very interesting. Now, what the story is about, Valak, he eventually becomes the king of his planet. But everything there is made from this special material called fabriconium. And the fabriconium is about to be depleted. The stores are almost empty. So Valak gives he goes looking for to resupply the Fabriconium, but it's made up of other planets. So what they do is kind of in a Death Star kind of way. They blow up planets and then they harvest the material, and that they use as their building material. Now, of course, the game is called Earth Must Die, and naturally, Earth is the next target for this. But this Earth is not Earth as we know it. It is a futuristic version. They also have made technological advancements, also in space exploration. So Earth is not about to die very easily. So once this part of the story, you get there and you have this kind of a shared villain, you might say. An enemy you have to fight because Earth is fighting back. And then at that time, I thought the game was becoming more interesting because the goals were more obvious, what you had to do. And well, I really enjoyed it from that part on. So yeah, that's about it, I think. It's like I said, it was an acquired taste, and as an adventure game, it does something completely different. Not everyone will really enjoy it, I think, but I'm sure that if you're into this kind of thing, then you'll definitely like it.
Johnny, you missed the the biggest part about this game, the voice acting.
Oh yeah, the voice acting, sure. Yeah, that was really excellent. So Valak and Milky. Valak has this Eastern European accent to it. He's voiced by Joel Fry. Now, I don't really know this actor myself. I don't know if he has done anything else in the gaming world.
Not sure if he has, actually. I only bring that up basically because I think if you're British, you'll recognize more of the names, but obviously slightly less recognizable. So, like you said, Joel Fry. I think he's been in Game of Thrones. He's been in quite a lot of BBC comedies. Ben Starr, who's obviously he's been in like quite a lot of big games now, like Final Fantasy and Claire Obscure. If you know Taskmaster, Alex Horne is in it. Tamsin Gregg is massive BBC comedy. Well, just comedy actress in the UK. Mike Wozniak, Alistair Beckett King in there as well. So a lot of British.
Never heard of him.
Like, yeah, who's he?
And Sally Beaumont. Sorry if you mentioned her, but she's there as well.
Yes,
I think.
exactly. There's loads of people, but Tom Lawrenson, Rosie Holt. So it's interesting because I guess because I brought that up as well because it's by the guys who made Lair of the Clockwork God as well. So they've kind of got form in these kind of maybe interesting mechanics, sort of slightly comedic British games. But yeah, I guess it kind of lives and dies on the comedy in that sense, it sounds like.
Well, that cast has just sold a lot more to me. So there's a bunch of people in that cast that like I love. So
I love Tamsin Gregg, so it's great that she's in a game. But
Rosie Holt, Rosie Holt's. If no one's listened to the Uncensored podcast, that's one of my favorite podcasts, aside from this one, of course.
Oh,
thank you for saying that, Matt. Yes, you listen to other podcasts, but well, Johnny, you had me at Alien Orgy, so.
Is it better to be known as Girth Must Die, or is that too a lowbrow joke?
This could be the first of our podcast, first of our episodes that would have to be rated explicit, just for that game alone. But
rated R for Irish.
Yes, Irish and British humor. So just say Brit explicit because of British humor.
Just say it's just British. Yeah, I do want. That's what I was just wondering because you were mentioning about the kind of, and it sounds sort of like almost kind of Monty Python-esque and sort of maybe being a bit absurd and
Yeah, it's definitely absurd science fiction humor in this one. And there's a lot of content because the puzzles aren't really that hard, but it still kept me going for a solid 8 hours. So it's a very, very detailed story. So combination science fiction and fantasy. There's this one scene where Valak and Milky are shrunk down to atomic size to enter this micro world, which reminded me a bit of that one episode of The Simpsons in Treehouse of Horror series of this tiny civilization living in the fridge. I think there's also a Black Mirror episode like that. I don't know. Which is
no, Love,
totally
Death and Robots
crazy.
has an episode like that.
I'm sure
okay.
it's quite a common trope, isn't it?
Yeah, right.
I just want to just point out that the Earth Must Die and Old Skies are available on Steam at the moment in a bundle for just £8 and 9p for both games. So
I mean,
this
it's
game
very
is
the
different.
reason why I played it as well, because of that bundle. So I got
amazing.
it kind of cheap, and that's why I gave it a try essentially. So I'm happy I gave it a try, that I saw for myself what it was about, and quite enjoyed it up to a level, and then some things just weren't my thing. But
that's fair.
Yeah. It's not just with Old Sky. You can also buy a bundle for Earth Must Die with Locomotive, or with Foolish Mortals, or with Tangle Tower. So, yeah, it is. They really tried to sell this game here.
Well, I have it. I hope to play it at some point. But yeah, and I'm a fan of Monty Python and Terry Pratchett. I still haven't read Douglas Adams. I should, but I'm looking forward to checking it out.
Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, I think, is my favorite book of all time.
Okay, well, I really must play it. So
it's a book that made me just laugh aloud. It's like
well,
reading. I had to put it down reading because I was laughing so much.
I think we all need that. So, well, thank you, Johnny. Thank you, everyone. So that is Earth Must Die. Okay, so now, Thomas, we're going back in time to a time many, many years ago, back to 2021, as we mentioned, so long ago when we were stuck at home. Remember those times, lockdown and COVID, and we couldn't go outside, and memories. Anyway, a game was released called The Captain. So Thomas, you played this game, so please tell us what this game is about and what you thought of it.
Yeah, I had heard from this game because it got very, very good reviews and people were just talking about it. So when it popped up on the with a discount on my wish list, I thought, well, why not? Let's get it going. I wanted to play something new, relatively new, but there were not like any new releases at that point, so they came later. So I started playing it. It is really a really fun game. This is about you are the titular captain. This is about, again, not Earth must die, but Earth must be saved. So you are part of a crew that is trying to save Earth, but something goes wrong, and you end up at the other side of the galaxy, and you have to get home before Earth gets attacked by the enemy. And along the way, you are alone with your ship and your a robot that helps you, and a shuttle, and they are all sentient. So, or sentient, at least they are AIs. So the ship and the robot are very, very helpful. The shuttle is very, very annoying and arrogant and quite funny, actually. So what happens is you on your way home, you come across different planets, different peoples, and every time you you get to a planet, like you can choose which planets you want to go to, so you don't have to do everything. But every planet is basically point-and-click adventure game. So, and it's completely different from the rest. So at one planet, I needed to do mining and get as many mining things as I could. The other, it's not all just planets. It can also be space stations and stuff. Another space station, I had to infiltrate an enemy starship. There was this planet where I lost my access to the shuttle, and I had to survive on this planet. And there were all kinds of people who were not going into space, so I had to be very careful with everything. And then I tried to help those people while trying to find a way home, stuff like that. So they're all mini adventures, and you could come across new people, new items that would help you. If you play correctly, then people would join your crew and add certain positive things to make your survival better or your combat better. So it was like a combination of point-and-click adventure game with resource management and a bit of turn-based combat. But you do have you do not have to engage in the combat. There's a possibility. There's a way of playing it where you do not engage in space combat at all. So that is totally the way you want to play this game. From what I've noticed is, the point-and-click adventures, they're a lot of fun. The resource management is not as simple as it sounds, because you need money, and not every mission went as well that I got a lot of money so I could buy bigger guns, stuff like that. So I am now nearing end of my playthrough, and then I should really play again with all the knowledge that I have now, for like, okay, how can I optimize it better? How can I maybe save that guy, or make sure this happens there, which makes my survival more likely. If you can die, if you die, you just you start at the beginning of that encounter. If you die in space combat, you can restart the combat. If you die during a mission, then you can either load or you can start again a few moments before you died. So there is, it's very friendly. You can save a lot, Sersha. So that's, I really like the pixel art and the story. I see why this game was getting such rave reviews. I would definitely recommend playing it because it's got a very nice combination of elements where and good writing and fun gameplay. So yeah,
thank you. I think that's indeed. I had heard of it, but I never played it. But I mean, this should probably be in a bundle with Earth Must Die, because it kind of seems like opposite. In Earth Must Die, you're trying to take over the world, but here you're trying to save it.
Well, as we speak, it is on a like 50% discount. It ends at the end of March. Maybe people can still check it out, but I think it's regularly discounted, but or in bundles or stuff like that. So yeah, I would definitely recommend it.
and it's available on Steam and Epic Games and GOG, and it's playable on Steam Deck. I think all of the
Yeah,
games we're talking about are at least playable on Steam Deck, if not verified. So if you
this
do
one
have a
was
Steam
very,
Deck.
very good very well playable on Steam Deck. Yeah.
Oh, thank you. Yes, so that is The Captain. I don't know if anybody else has any questions on it, but I think you've described it. Uh, it's another game to add that I've added to my wish list. Well, thank you, Thomas. Okay, and now we've got one final game, which is Perfect Tides Station to Station. So this is the sequel to Perfect Tides from 3B's Murdered Grant, I believe was the developer. And Matt, you played this game. You're a big fan of the first Perfect Tides, I believe. Please tell us, what is this game about and what are your thoughts on it?
It's so many thoughts about it. Probably not, probably too many to condense in 10 minutes. But there is an Ask Us About Loom at the end of May, where I'm speaking to Daniel Turner of College Fun Games about the whole game, which is about a good hour and a half. So I can expand more on that afterwards. But for the very, very easy gist of it is, sequel to Perfect Tides from 2022 by Meredith Gran, and whereas the original gameplay followed a 15-year-old teenage girl called Mara Whitefish on a small kind of tourist island just off the coast of a mainland called Perfect Tides. Perfect Tides Station follows the same character, Mara Whitefish. 3 years later, she's now 18 and living in a nondescript, unnamed city called The City, which is basically New York, but it's just not been given a name. It's just referred to as The City. And sorry, excuse me. And what happens is now Mara is now at college and studying kind of like media and literature and everything, and pretty much is living in a kind of weird transitional kind of period of where she has to kind of commute into the city or go home, and sometimes she just crashes on friends' sofas and stuff. And the game is pretty much about the kind of transitional period of leaving teenage life and going into adulthood, and through the many experiences that she has during that. Whereas the first game was very much a kind of love letter to Sierra, where you had a kind of almost open world style kind of environment that you could walk through. You had like a GUI with like walk, talk, pick up, etc. And there was puzzles in this. Perfect Tides Station to Station kind of does away with a bit of that. There's some point and click elements and you control it that way, but the interface has been now kind of condensed to just more like a single click where you can left click to look or interact, and right click, or if you hold right click you get a series of topics that you can talk to people about. And there's a bigger focus on kind of narrative storytelling than actual kind of puzzle solving. And with that, I think that is because I think the game has kind of taken, I think, some criticisms of the first game in terms of how it's did its puzzle structure and condensed into what I think is a quite polished, strong storytelling experience. So one of the praises that the first game had was its storytelling, its character work, how easy it was to both be support and be frustrated with its main character at the same time, and just kind of fall in love with Mara as a character. And with that, you kind of do the same thing with this character, and you just kind of follow her life through that. So it's less a kind of adventure game and more kind of like a interactive kind of storytelling medium, which I don't use the term visual novel because it's not exactly that, but you are pretty much kind of guided across a story through that, and you can kind of shape Mara's experience through this, because there's a mechanic of writing, of having to do papers in college, and where you have to kind of you have to fill out papers, and you fill out papers with certain deadlines by using the computer or in a library at home, and you have like an RPG system where you have like 6 topics that you can choose from like they go from like the city, movies, sex, drugs, anarchism, and I can't remember what the 6th one was. And you can kind of pick a combination of 2 to do these papers. Death, that was it. Thank you. And you can kind of make a combination of these to kind of do these papers. And then if you do well, Mara's knowledge of these subjects kind of increases, and and you can kind of do better on certain topics on certain papers and stuff. Whereas I don't think, well, in my experience of playing it like 1.5 times through, I didn't complete it a second time yet. I don't think they have much sway over the actual story. I think it's more or less of how you interact and stuff. But what I think that is that I think some games can get bogged down in multiple paths and stuff. I think with Perfect Ties, I think there's a singular story that Meredith Grant wants to tell and has to tell it in a certain way. And I think it's just how you tell that story, which I think is how the game kind of goes. So I don't think there's multiple endings in this one, but I think it's kind of fun to kind of see what happens when you you get the chance to read books, and if you read a certain book, you're able to go into a certain like a section or a certain little set piece. Whereas like if you didn't read a book, you can't do that, and you have the opportunity to read other books, which if characters talk about something, you can talk about them, but if you haven't read it, the conversation goes elsewhere. But it all kind of goes back on the same track. So and I think it gives it a bit more of a focus. Now some people probably might feel a bit let down by that, but I think the storytelling and the character work in the game kind of is so well written that you kind of like go with the ride of it. So it's kind of just like either reading a book or just watching a film. You can't really interact with them, but this is just another way of experiencing that kind of thing. I can't think of anything else on that. I don't know if anyone else here has played anything that can add to that, but I don't really want to spoil it too much because it's like the first game. There's a lot in there that happens. There are some very, very good set pieces I do not want to mention because it'll ruin the surprise. But it's well worth going in kind of with the least amount of knowledge that you can, because I think you'll be moved. So I'm not sure if anyone else has played it. I think in here is.
Yeah, I've completed it. Yeah.
Yeah. So.
I much preferred this to the first one, which I actually didn't finish. I just didn't gel as much with it. But I also wonder if I kind of just stopped playing it and then I just kind of moved on to other things. It's not that I didn't enjoy it; it just didn't. Whereas this one, I mean, it's so well written. Meredith Grant. I mean, she won a GDC award recently for excellence in narrative for this game, and well deserved, because it really is very evocative of being kind of in your kind of late teens, early 20s, and the kind of angst, and all the characters are really well written. I agree kind of with it's interesting they kind of introduced this mechanic of having to read and write, and I thought that was an interesting way of sort of bringing about this idea of being at college or uni and having to pick up all these new kind of subjects. But then it's kind of weird that sort of just dropped, and I don't know. I get why it happens, because it's kind of like, well, that's not the most important thing in her life anymore. She's got a lot more going on. But it's just, it feels weird because at the beginning you're like, okay, you've got to match these two. You basically what you do is you can decide which 2 topics to use of your knowledge to write about something. So if you've spoken a lot about a certain topic with people, your knowledge in that area grows a little bit, and it's shown by this kind of changing shape. And at the beginning, that's felt like it's quite an important part of what you're supposed to be doing, like picking up all this literature, reading, conversing with people. And then it's kind of like, oh, well, that doesn't really matter now. And I was a bit like, oh, okay, well, right, should I have bothered at all? Because it kind of feels like there's not really a big payoff for that. But I also kind of get it because it sort of makes sense with the story. But I don't, it felt like it was weird that was kind of such an important thing, and then it just doesn't really matter anymore. That's the one thing. Apart from that, I really loved it. I thought it was just, and the soundtrack is great as well. Just like wandering around the streets of New York is just, it just felt like lovely. It was a really lovely game to play.
Yeah, the soundtrack actually, I think Daniel Kobilars, I think it's pronounced. He did the soundtrack for the first game, and it's I think there's just a lot more kind of stuff going on in this. I think because the game world's busier, the music matches to it, and just the music throughout is like sublime and stuff. And you can actually listen to the soundtrack on Spotify actually. So I think I did end up kind of like listening to some of it independently from that because of just how good that soundtrack was and stuff. But now I think I know what you mean because I think the game kind of aims to kind of tell a certain story in that, like the first game, like there are certain mistakes that the character makes that has to be made for the story to happen. And like the game Station to Station talks about kind of like the transition of going from home to commuting into the city the whole time, but then it's also about the transition of milestones or people that she meets, romantic suitors that she meets, that I think also is the stations that she kind of travels to and from and stuff, and it's very well done. There are kind of little moments where the gameplay kind of changes. I really don't want to spoil, because if people are listening and wanting to play it, there's like the end of Act 1, the end of Act 1 or the first season, with end of Day 4, there's the closest I've had to a very stressful boss battle, which is really well done. It took me 40 minutes to get past.
What was this? I'm trying to think what this was.
It involves a phone call, and that's all I'm saying.
Oh, yes. Okay. Now
Yes.
I do know. Yeah.
40
minutes? Matt, what were you doing?
I'll tell you once we stop recording.
Okay.
So I don't really want to spoil it, because once you figured out what's happening,
Yeah.
it's very well implemented, and you feel what Mara's going through.
Yeah.
Like,
Well, that's what I actually, there were loads of little bits, and like, I'm not going to give anything away, but the karaoke scene, for example. So there's lots of like really fun little sort of mini game bits that sort of bring it alive. I almost wish there was a bit more of that, to be honest. But the bits that are there, like that when she's putting on her makeup and things, there's loads of little sort of funny humor bits that I was like, it could almost have done with even more of that. But I mean, it is great. It is just a breath of fresh air. I think a lot of it is just so well written.
yeah, I think game of the year contender for me already. So
Looking forward to it. Now, Kieran said that he believes it's a masterpiece. So yeah, I think it could be certainly
Kieran
a
loved
contender.
the first one as well.
Yes, and he loved this one as well. And Johnny, did you play the second game? Did you play this game yet?
I haven't played the second game yet because I hadn't played the first one, so I've only recently caught up on that one. So this one is coming up very soon for me.
I'm disappointed in you, Johnny.
I knew you were going to say that.
Thought you would have played this game. I mean, I know you have a life as well. I know you have like a family and a life, and you do other things as well. But still,
I know.
Well, look forward to hearing your thoughts once you do play it. So that is Perfect Tide Station to Station, a Game of the Year contender already. It's available on Steam, and the first game, which I also still have to play, is available on Steam, GOG, and itch.io. And I believe, Laura, you had an interview with Meredith Grant as well. As you spoke, as you said, you've spoken to everybody who's everybody in the adventure game community and beyond.
I spoke to Dan Marshall from Earth Must Die.
You spoke to him as well, yes?
Yep. Johnny Gold from TR49, if you want to check out that.
And
it'd be easier if Laura just mentioned who she hasn't spoken to at this point.
Yeah.
I'm afraid
Well, now she's spoken to us as well. So
No, yeah. I've not spoken to the Devil the Captain, so there you go.
Oh, wow. Okay. And
ruined it.
I mean, we should go through the game's review. Has Laura spoken to these developers? No, it's Perfect Tide Station to Station. So thank you guys. That is all for this recording. Is there anything that anybody is planning on playing that you're looking forward to? Well, Laura, you're playing Resident Evil Requiem. I know it's not an adventure game, but is that again very, very briefly? I know we all have to finish up, but is that meeting expectations or?
It's great. It's good fun.
Yeah, I want.
It's daft, but it's good fun. I mean, it's there's an interesting line you can argue about survival horror sort of being
Yes,
adventure games, really,
absolutely.
with horror and action involved, because there is a lot of puzzle solving you do have to do in these games. Unfortunately, it's also just filled with gore and zombies, so there is that bit. But I mean, I love that. But yeah, Resident Evil Requiem, also Hollow Knight Silk Song, which is really hard, really difficult.
I won't be playing that. I've
No.
heard great things about it, but not for me.
But in terms of actual adventure game, I think I probably am going to play Earth Must Die quite soon. So I'll let you know my thoughts on that one.
No, thank you. Thomas, I know you'll be, I know that life is happening to you in a very good way, but you are you playing anything? You're looking forward to playing anything apart from, buying a house and all of that?
Well, I hope to finish the captain, and I also started on Esoteric Ebb, which
Yes,
is sort of like Disco Elysium meets Planescape Torment.
I really want to play that one.
I know, and I
So,
believe it's people compare it to Disco Elysium meets Terry Pratchett, which I'm like, okay, I'm here for that.
Yeah, it's a strange in a very good way. So yeah, I hope to. I started on that. I hope to continue that soon. But I must say, as life is well, I would say hard, but it's tiring. It's not hard, but I have a lot of things to do, good things, but it's wearing me out a bit. So I don't often have the energy to pick up the
No,
Steam
that's
Deck again and just crash on the couch.
no, that's normal. It's a job and buying a house and everything, but so good things,
Yeah.
but they're tiring. But yes, no, hopefully at some point we can both review Esoteric Ebb because I really want to play that game as well. And
Yeah, I have a feeling it's going to be a long game.
yeah, as well. And Johnny, are you playing anything particular that you were looking forward to playing, or?
Oh, I've got lots of things going on right now. I'm
Let's
in the
say
middle
two things.
I'm in the middle of a vampire story because, well, Tag of Joy
Yes.
is working on the sequel with Bill Tiller. After that, I want to play Dead Hand and Red Star by Duck Made of Wood, because they have a new game coming along as well, published by Dynas Games, Escape from 8-Bit High, which I'm looking forward to. And there are actually several games that Dynas is going to publish this year that are on my list of want to play. And then recently, well, PR49 has really sparked this thing in me for deduction games. So Owlscape Games recently released their new game, The Red Line, about hunting down former Nazi agents. So I've bought their game bundle and I'm playing all the older games as well right now. And like I said earlier, I want to do something, write an article, or perhaps do a special podcast episode about detective and deduction games and combination of that, and also exceptions and stuff like that. So yeah, I got a lot of
Got
stuff
a lot
to
on
look
as
ahead
well, a
for.
lot
And
planned.
if you want to check out an interview with Owlskip Games, Tim Scheinman, it has been released in the last 25 minutes on my YouTube channel.
Wait, you released it while recording the podcast.
It was it was scheduled. Sure, it was scheduled.
Oh, you schedule it. I should do that.
Yeah, schedule it. Yeah. But yeah, it was for that Steam event thing. But yeah, no, it looks interesting, that one, doesn't it? Like, yeah, he's done a lot of deduction games.
I've played a demo of it. It's very good. I enjoyed it very much, and I didn't get a chance to play it at Adventure X, but I played most of the demo, and it is a game that I would really like to play. And yeah, so a lot going ahead for you, Johnny. Well,
exactly.
Thank you for that. And finally, Matt, is there anything that you're looking forward to playing? As you're planning on playing?
I'm quite a few actually. I've just started and currently playing In Their Shoes, which is kind of like a conversation em up, which was at Adventure X, where you just follow, I think, a lot of kind of like a bunch of people who live in Milan, doing stuff and wearing different shoes. I think I've not fully clocked on what the shoes mean yet, but I'm quite enjoying this anyway. In terms of other games I'm playing, I've just recently purchased Earth Must Die during this conversation, so the review so the chat of that's encouraged to
you convinced him, Johnny.
Yeah,
That's great.
Yeah.
Hope you have fun with it.
But Kathy Rain 2 as well. I've also just gotten really kind of addicted to the New York Times games app. So I've been playing Wordle, the kind of only connections wall rip-off connections they got, as well as having to go at all the crosswords as well. And this is when Laura comes in saying, I'm interviewing the person who invented the crossword next week.
Not yet.
Not yet, but wouldn't put it past you.
but I'm getting addicted to the US style of crosswords, actually, which I think is quite an interesting way of doing it, because you have to.
So is it different then?
Yeah, because there's a lot less black squares, so you could theoretically just answer all the across answers, and you'd solve pretty much most of the down answers, because there's a lot because a lot of the grid, there's a lot more of a grid that you answer and stuff, and it's a lot more interesting. So I'm somehow getting really into that, playing that first thing in the morning.
Okay, nice. Well, I am playing on PS5 Alan Wake 2, which is a game I'm meaning to play as well. And you can play it kind of as an adventure game. You can kind of remove combat or just have one-hit kills and invincibility in the game setting. So I admit that's how I'm playing, because I hate combat. I'm not good at it. But I'm still really enjoying it. It's a kind of a creepy game, so trying to figure out what is actually going on. And I'm also, speaking of trying to figure out what's going on, I'm also playing Asylum, going through that. And I know, Laura, you've played it, so I'm hoping that the two of us could discuss it once I do finish. I'm currently making my way through that game. I'm about halfway through, I think. So I believe that the end part gets interesting from what I've heard. I don't know anything else what happens, but yeah, I'm sure we'll discuss it once I do finish it. And yeah. And so, well, that is it for this recording. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Johnny. Thank you, Thomas, Laura, and Matt. And hopefully we'll be chatting to Kieran some point soon as well. So thank you very much. And thank you if you're watching this on YouTube. Thank you, or if you're listening to it as well. And we'll be there very, very shortly. So you can check out Laura's channel, where she speaks to all the adventure game developers live today.
Press up.
Dress up. And so thank you very much. So Thomas, you can take us out.
Keep on questing, everyone.